Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Wargame Red Dragon. Today we have a 4v4 replay for you. It's going to be myself and Osama. We're going to be your casters, and I'm playing Blue Dragon Armored. We're going to go ahead and take you through just this short little game and show you what happens.
So thanks for that intro there, Ghost. He is, of course, the best Black Knight ever. I'm definitely not, but this was a 4v4, as he said, and it was actually one I was invited to by John J. Pershing. So this is not my lobby. Most of my replays, I host the lobby for it. This was not mine. And we actually have high income, so way more units than you're going to be used to seeing. And the opener was really pretty scary. So two of my allies are going toward Juliet. I'm headed toward Echo, and John J. Pershing himself was headed up toward Bravo and potentially into Charlie, depending on how things progress. Now, this was a Conquest match, and Conquest, you have to play the objective, particularly on maps like this where you have sort of this one big zone in the middle where you can expect to have a knockdown, drag-out fight the whole time. And taking it in the beginning of the game is just really, really important. So TY90s, 4 of them from the Red 4 team, crush a couple of taps.
Double stack.
Yep, they are.
Disgusting.
Yep.
Yeah, so for anti-tier helos, don't want to stack because
No.
you receive fire, they will splash on each other.
Yeah.
You don't want to attack move, you just want to fly into the enemy because what the helicopter does is it pitches up to stop and slow down before firing.
So,
yeah, exactly what you see there. You do not want that to happen because you cannot fire on enemy helos.
this almost strikes me as one of those, like, it worked here, but it shouldn't have sort of deals, where there's just better ways to do it.
Should not have worked. If you had 2 DAPs there or anything like that, DAPs just on a movement order into those TY90s, the DAPs would have taken.
Well, there were 2 DAPs and they got wrecked.
There were? Oh,
yeah,
man.
there were. I think the TY90 has better range, and for that moment, they were properly done. They weren't moving. If they had been moving or attack
he also got
order,
lucky. If one of those TY90s misses a shot on that DAP will take the one round, and then it'll be able to get shot off. But since he had him double stacked, they both hit, and they were able to kill those DAPs in 2 shots.
Curious what the
On the
Kurnos is
flip
going
side,
for.
If you actually stop the helos and pitch them up while a plane is flying over them, it actually helps their missiles engage. Because a lot of the times they will fire the missiles, but doesn't have enough mobility to kind of like turn engaged planes.
That's kind of goofy.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I
so
think we've talked about this before too, where like the longbow and any of those things that have like a turret on the actual helicopter itself, they're some of the best because it doesn't really matter what pitch they're at; they're always going to be able to engage whatever they're shooting at.
yeah, fair enough. So to my actual deployment here, I am mostly, seeing that result in Julia, I thought to myself, okay, I've got to go, I've got to attack Delta, and I brought with me 2 KM-110s, and these guys, 10 HE power, relatively small, 2 rounds each, and they have a relatively long reload. But I was just thinking to myself, we're going to end up in a town fight. I can just go ahead and take the highest HE power possible. And then my whole intention is to move reservist up and forward the Yebagun, the Susaik Day, Recon, and then use Nanayon Shiki A's and M41A1s to get shots in. So my hope here is to make up for the infantry that I lack, because I'm not playing mechanized, with truly outvetted tanks. These guys are all on elite. Elite Nanayon Shiki A's, and 10 rounds a minute, 50% accuracy, yeah, it'll surprise you. I really like these guys. Plus, the heat rounds can always deal at least 1 damage on whatever they're shooting. And then in the meantime, I'm not really sure what happened here. If we look at the Red 4 deployment from Mutt, I think their TY90s won the opener, there's no doubt about that. But I think they only had 1 player really here, so another player is going way overboard with base defense on this side. And I just don't think they had enough muscle in there, because we had 2 players on our side and 1 on theirs. And in the meantime, I don't know, you have to play the objective, so we're taking +2. There's already a command vehicle headed up to India from John Pershing, and we already have, November hotel capped, India capped soon. I have my CV should be headed up here. Yep, just bought it there with the Jiwicha. We're going to be ticking a lot, and with 1 zone in the center, that's just really a bit of a problem. But this is the sort of, I wish I could rewind. This is the sort of firepower I want. Just watch these Shiki A's. That's just nice and satisfying. Basically, your opponent, when you do something like this, or with even more guns, they just can't stay in the outside of towns, which in a lot of maps, the outside of the town is your only option for smaller town blocks than this. And it can be just really kind of crushing. So I've been a little bit talking over, I think, some of our guests here. We do have Ghost and Osama with us. I'm curious, what would you guys do to recover from this if you were the Red 4 team and you had that nice first engagement, but then lost ground in the middle?
Definitely, like, you 100% need infantry. Like, your vehicles and your helicopters are nice, but you need that ground presence, especially with there being 2 towns in there. If you can get infantry in those towns, that gives you a foothold across that river. Especially like recon or something in one of those towns. It's going to let you see what's beyond that town, and then you can start to work out what you need to buy from there, or even what you need to engage that stuff. It just looks like
nice.
he spent. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, they'll take down planes when they get those hits. I guess building on that, I don't really love the Geogos die pick here. They're very expensive, and it seems
They're
almost
very in
like
the front like that. Yeah, he should be staying in the back.
yeah, because
Yeah,
the
they're
same
very
thing.
expensive, and he's using them, I think, way a little too liberally. Like Osama's saying, they need to. Yeah, like jumping out to that outside town block and engaging infantry before they get in can be good. But he doesn't know what's beyond that, and more than likely there's going to be fire support sitting in those forests.
Right.
Which means he's going to get stunned, he's going to take damage. So if he just waits for that infantry to jump into that town block with him, he's more than likely going to win engagements with them, because those are 15-man shock squads that are actually pretty good at fighting other infantry.
Yeah.
So like you can see those Canadian Airborne, they're getting wrecked now that they're in the same block with them.
They definitely did. And then I wanted to point out as well over on this side, actually 2 of my opponents were loading stuff into the same town, and it's a lot of infantry. The BWP 20s, I mean, yeah, 25 points, they have Conquerors, but I don't know, I feel like this was...
seems like a bad unit. I've never seen it before, but I'm looking at it...
I've never seen that before either.
Well, let's see.
Like a great unit.
Polish, 25 points, 4 frontal armor, 3 side, 2 back, 1 top.
Yeah. Like mediocre.
Yeah.
The thing with those is, like, they have really slow ATGMs, because it is a concourse, and it's got that 26-25 range, so your tanks most of the time, like, unless he's sitting at that max range, you're going to be able to drive or even smoke off before that ATGM gets to you.
Yeah, and this is a problem. Like, if he comes through the town, I have 4 Nani on Shiki A's, and right now, yeah, I mean, this is it.
Yeah.
1 shot, long reload on the Shiki A, because I think they do have the Japan-style several quick shots followed by a long reload, but there you go, 50 points killed. And then there are 2 paves here, but I think they needed, if they were going to win this side, I think they needed to be taking advantage of all the other space.
100% needed to be out in the open, not hiding behind the town.
Right, so you can see I have some Yebagun here, some Susag Day, and I haven't put much more in there, because these recon infantry can see the open field, and I saw that they weren't bringing anything this way, and in the meantime, this grind favors me a lot. So I was just sitting here going, well, okay, that's fine. My teammates have by now recovered from the opener. We've capped Juliet. We're up 328 points to 22. Let me just bleed them dry here. That's fine, right? Like, the more kills I get, the better, and if I can do it at cost. So Sochung Su-85 are relatively cheap, 10-point lines. Pechota are, of course, cheap as well, but, you know, the more kills I can get, the more my opponents, now 2 of them in this area, aren't supporting in Juliet, which is where they need to be.
I think what matters too is what they're bringing their infantry in with, right? Like, you have, like, the infantry is 10 points, but what transport are you bringing in? Are they coming in 5-point transports, or are they coming in
those BWPs 25? Like, my transports are the K200s, which they're 5 points, 2 guns, mechanized, 2 frontal armor. I love these transports. I think they're really, really pretty good. And then the rocket pod planes just seem like, I don't know. It's such a weird thing for me to say, because planes can be so impactful, but I don't think they were the right call for this sort of situation. So you can see those bombs. Let's switch back here. Did nothing, pretty much. Stunned K200s. In the meantime, we shot 1 or both of them down with my allies Sea Eagle and my own, I don't have them now. Actually, yeah. This Mistral team kills, I think, 3 airplanes over the course of this game. Because they fly in, they're bombing here, but they have to come in and turn. Yeah, no. And they run out of, I think they run out of fuel before they even get to the front line.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of M41A1s, but, I mean, why not, right? I have 2 Kiyomara Shikis here. They can handle the paves. Paves, by the way, I always want this unit to work. I can never get it to work. Just because that 14...
I really enjoy that unit. I think it's a great... like, if you have your heavy tanks, like, for example, like the mod that you get with those tanks. If you have, like, a mod, then you can buy that tank as a support tank with it, right? Like, you don't
and
need
you
to
save
buy
some
2
points.
mods. Yeah,
I guess you have to keep the
save
mod
some points.
up in front of it, though, because the issue with them is exactly that, right? My Q Marushikis took out both of them so quickly.
Yeah, like, you definitely, like, they're very micro-intensive. You have to be very careful with them. It's just that insane punch that their gun has can be really nice.
Yeah, so...
but I think the red team's running the same issue that they ran into in Juliet, where they're buying a lot more, like, aircraft and helicopters and all these supporting units, and they're not actually putting meat into the fight.
Yeah, and so I think, look, if I remember correctly, some of the Red 4 players were pretty new, although so were some of the Blue 4 players, I think. And it seems like a common trap, right? Because you underestimate how much that front line will attrit if your opponent is really just trying to grind down and move the front line. And in a destruction game, that's less true because the kills matter a lot more. But in Conquest, if I can just push you back, if I can move those goalposts forward and forward and forward, then it protects me, right? Like, if something goes bad for me right now, I have all of this space to recover before we get to Echo. If something goes bad for the Red 4 team, I'm in Delta, right? So even though I'm not in the zone right now, it's still just really kind of a good position for me to be in. K200s, by the way, how many Brownings can you get online at one point in time? Oh, man. Do either of you guys remember the damage reduction for towns? I don't off the top of my head.
I think it's like somewhere like 2.5 times.
Health point, approximate health, you mean?
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it's a little bit over 2. That's all I remember.
Gotcha. If these Pechota were in the open, they'd be dead by now. But as it is, what's happening is the damage is getting reduced, but the suppression, I think, still goes through. So they're just getting chain stunned. It's kind of
Well,
goofy.
suppression is also damage-based. So there's 2 components of suppression. There's the actual suppression weapon, and of course, damage-based suppression.
Oh, well, learn something new every day. But I just have
It usually
Yevagun.
doesn't come up too much.
Yeah, that's true, that's true. I mean, all I was bringing in, so I'm losing K200s, but I just brought Yevagun in with K200s. It's 10 points for the infantry and the transport, 40 points for the for the quad stack. And in the meantime, you know, if I get a couple units of line infantry, if I can get some of my fire support online, it pays for itself. We also did spot this 40 points vehicle. I actually like this one from Finland. I think it has a potential niche in that deck, particularly if it's a Finnish national deck for ATGMs, and it was a big pain. I think it did pay for itself. My KF-16C is in the fight now, though. I'm trying to get AMRAMs online. We do get 1-2 kills there. Don't think the KF-16C got either one of them, but yeah, I mean, that's just another... This game is the definition of attrition, even on high income, right? So you think high income, you can manage that a little better. I think it's actually the other way around. Because it's higher income, people can capitalize on points differences ever faster than in medium income games. Because, you know, if we get a 100 point asymmetry, then I can really make use of it. I can get that 100 points on the field faster because it's, you know, it's in my call out faster, and it almost speeds the game up. I don't know if that's your opinion of that as well, but it felt like a faster game than usual just because there's more on the field. By the way, all out of fuel. Yeah.
Nice. Typical M41.
Yep. This is 110 points worth of M41A1s, and I completely goofed on the resupply. So I had resupply trucks, they're out. I think I have more on the way. Yeah, cargo's on the way. I really wanted these guys forward because I think they're so goofy when they work, and they do work a lot more than you might think. But we're getting into Delta. My allies have pushed across the bridge a couple times, and usually been pushed back, but the Moglon team is brutal, taking out HQ61A. 60 points each. Can't afford to lose these. I don't know. They're weird. They're not as weird as Praska's, but I tend to not get great use out of them. Not really sure why. This also broke my heart. So Mistral team, Chumat sneaking up. We land the first one. Salamandra's not yet moving. Swing and a miss.
Is he get his rocket pods off on the Chumats?
No, actually, but
Oh, okay.
he just gets out of dodge, and I was sitting there going, okay, I should have. This is a mistake. I should have turned off the Mistral. I should have walked up farther because he couldn't see me yet, and taken the second shot when I had a bit more, a bit better range on him to make sure that I could really keep shooting in. So
I think it's fine. I mean, again, I guess for newer players, they will oftentimes make the mistake of just leaving stuff there.
Yeah.
But for newer, for more experienced players, they're probably not going to let you do that anyway. So getting that one shot off, getting them to repair, probably good. They might not, like, if you're going to try to do that walking up trick, they might not even let you do it.
Yeah, that's fair. These Polodnosi were pretty impressive, honestly. I tend to overlook that unit, but maybe
They're
because
so fun.
Yeah, they're really nice.
they're like discount Gornostrelki, right?
Yeah, I would say they're more like riflemen almost. Maybe discount corner strike is a better way to put it, I think.
Hold on. That was 210 points in rocket pod planes, and they killed 0 Shikies. The Polodnosi got another kill. I didn't realize that during the game, but that's...
Did they right click on them or what happened? I didn't see that.
I'm not entirely sure. I think so, because he has vision on him right now. But yeah, I don't know. That's just...
They should have killed your tank. Those are pretty, they've got pretty big rockets.
They might have fired at position.
Yeah, they
not
might
really
have
sure.
fired.
I wish I could see that in the replay, but that part doesn't get recorded, unfortunately. My Chumat died to Polodnosi over on that side because I kind of forgot about them going over here. I mean, just trying to get the kill on the command vehicle, just to sort of wind things down a little quicker. And unfortunately, unlike the last game where we had the Rhino, which is just an amazing artillery piece, I have very high dispersion. So my first shot overshoots it. We'll see other ones coming in. There it is. Saber as well, trying to get the kill there. And this, actually, I was surprised I didn't get it. Down to 2 strength.
Well, it's a 2 armor box.
Oh, it is?
So it's going to take quite a bit, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Look at that. If that was 1 frontal armor, that would be dead.
Yep.
But,
it's a pretty good
yeah, and then we do get it with artillery.
Level. but,
But-
you know, pretty good.
Yeah, that's fair. It didn't decap the zone because there's a second command vehicle in Delta, so...
Yeah, I was just going to say, they have
Yeah.
pro tip, you get double the tick if you have more, twice the C zone.
Yeah, pro tip, that's not true at all. Don't let him fool you. No,
Yeah, don't listen to us.
ooh. I didn't notice this during the game either, so there's napalm here, and I think the Geogos Dire just
no.
force path through it.
Oh no.
That's such an expensive mistake. Let's flip to red, I just want to see that. Yeah,
Oh, okay,
41,
nothing.
39, I mean, 37, stunned. Stunned in the
I think he's still
napalm.
inside. Yeah, he's still inside.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Like
he's still
stuck
inside.
on the other side of the bridge.
man.
Bridge
Yeah.
warfare is not fun.
If there is a niche for napalm planes, I think that is it. I mean, this is just like, yep, you're not reinforcing here for a little bit. Which,
Yeah, the napalm plane has been. Whoever's using that thing, it's been definitely getting its value throughout the game. I've been watching it.
yeah, that's fair. I should have probably highlighted it more. I think over on this side it was a good distraction. I'm not sure it actually killed anything, but yeah, every bit of damage you can get in is good for that.
Jason,
Yeah,
quite a bit. Well, if it lands in the right spot.
yeah. Let's see. Bomb coming in. You got a K200. Nearly killed a Yebagun. This is just cheap chaff, right? Like, it's just... We're near the end of the game anyway, 482 points to 22, and I was just sitting there thinking, alright, let's get forward, let's see if I can find the decap if I can. BMP2s surprisingly killed my helicopters there, I got a little too close.
Well, next time if you want to figure out where the CV is, click on that MIE,
The what?
the MI8, the helicopter.
Yeah, they might look at its
Oh,
in the town. Yep.
Yeah, you can see it's got 2 chevrons, so that usually means it's
Yeah.
a CV tree.
yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. And then this was just soul crushing, so my M41A1s killing the 20-point resupply vehicles, killing Panzerjäger in the open. Oh man.
Look at all those
Beautiful.
50 cows.
Yep.
You're the 50 cows.
This is why I play this deck for fun. I mean, Blue Dragon's armor is a little goofy, but you just get so many guns. It's so much fun
It's
for that.
actually really fun.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
now you
hey.
gotta play it in ranked.
Yeah. No. Oh no. So 4,844 kills to 4,410 losses, and I think that match went well for me. Here.
Yeah.
Pershing didn't really do much. Like, this is kind of strange. You usually see it in Destruction more than Conquest, where people have really low scores. But Dunkachino and Lord over there definitely put up some good pressure, and I think what Dunkachino lost in helicopters at the start, they sort of made back in board presence at the end. But the combined pair were negative, but the whole game they were playing on the enemy's side of the board, which that's all you need. Highlight units, the KM-110s did surprisingly well for 70 points each one of them. They did a lot of kills, but they actually got a lot more in damage over time as well against enemy infantry. Chuma always do well, Nanian Shiki A's, I mean, Erequisiekri Pechota, it's a lot of good, and the Kiyomaro Shikis, the same one, hog both the pave kills, but these guys didn't actually pay for themselves, which is a little goofy, but it was just such an infantry grind, they didn't really have appropriate targets to get high value return other than the 2 paves. So that's going to be our game for you guys today. Hope you did enjoy it, and many thanks to both Ghost and Osama bin Lifton from the Blitzwar community for joining me for this stream. We'll see you guys around.